Goals are important. Why? Not for achieving the goal, but for the man or woman you have to become in order to achieve the goal. It's such an important point, and it's something that we got to wrap our mind around, ladies and gentlemen, if we want to go off and design our ideal life, right? I know some of that stuff was kind of fast. I told you I listened to it fast. You're just listening slow, right? You gotta you gotta pick up things a lot faster. But either way, there was a lot of good stuff in there. Main point that I want to drive home is that we have to set goals. You have to have a vision. If you can see it in your mind, that means you can hold it in your hand. I want you to understand that if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. If you can't see it in your mind, it's likely you won't be able to hold it in your hand. This is why one of our visions is creating a vision school for children, a dream school. That's what we'll call it. But really for the adolescent, for like the middle school ages, that's sixth grade, fifth grade to eighth grade, just getting them to see something beyond what they see. If they can see it with their mind, they can hold it with their hand. You have to understand that in your journey, in your pursuit to get to your ideal life. If you can see it in your mind, then you can hold it in your hand. So that gets us to a point of thinking, what are you seeing in your mind? What are you thinking about? Where's your energy flowing? Is it focused on the future? Is it focused on the things you want or focused on the things you don't want? Is it focused on your current circumstance or something that's up ahead for you? The importance on this October 1st, why I'm going to tell you, you need to write down some goals for this month. You need to write down some goals for the rest of this year. You need to write down some things over the next 2, 3 years. You need to get very clear on what it is that you want in your life, what you want to make happen, so that you can see it in your mind, so you can hold it in your hand. The goals that we write down are not just arbitrary goals. These are things that pull us to become the man or woman God called us to be. God gave you a vision. He doesn't give that vision to everyone. He doesn't give it to everyone. You have it for a reason because he wants you to experience something in life. He wants you to experience those things. So you have to now go to work becoming the man or woman that can achieve that vision. This is in all the areas of your life. If you have a vision for your marriage, right? That means that you're going to have to become a different man or woman in order to sustain that marriage. It's just the way it goes. If you see yourself as being financially free, you see yourself having multi millions of dollars, the person you have to become in order to achieve that is the goal, right? Like that's it. That's why you don't set goals that you can actually achieve, because then you don't have to become anything different. The dreams, the goals, the visions, the things that are out there, you have to know that they're beyond you, that they're beyond what you're capable of right now at this version of yourself. You probably don't have the money for it. You probably don't have the resources for it. You probably don't have the network for it. Like you probably don't. And that doesn't mean that you shrink the size of your dream, that you shrink the goal. Because the further out that it is, the more you see, this is what I want, the more you have to become that person that gets it. That's what it's about. That's what it's about in your health. When you set a goal to have a six packer, right? Live to your 102 or whatever your health goals are, the person now you have to become in order to achieve that will change who you are. You're going to have to think differently about it, and then you're going to take different actions. That's the way this goes, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why this is the point, right? This is the thing that you drive home. That's why having goals and having dreams and getting clear on where you're going is the beginning of all this personal growth, personal development, getting to the life that we want. Because it's going to force you to now do things that change who you are. If we change our thinking, we change our life. If we change how we think about our health, about our money, about our relationships, about our spiritual life, if we change how we think about it, not how we've been programmed to think about it, not how the people around us think about it, how we think about it. When you start thinking about it differently, it changes your behaviors, changes your actions, ultimately changes your results. which means you get different things in life. And that's what we're here to do, is to get different things. You don't want the same things that you have right now or that you have had over the past 10, 15, 20 years, right? You want something different. That means you're going to have to become different. And so that's all the things that you heard in there. There's lots of little quotes, little takeaways. A lot of it talked a little bit about law of attraction, right? A lot of the people in there were talking about just how you manifest things, how things become attracted to you. And this is one of the laws that successful people live off of. And again, when I say success, y'all, remember, I remind you this all the time. There is monetary success, but there's success in other areas. Right? I don't, feed into the line of thinking that money isn't everything, right? Like nothing is everything. Air is everything because if you can't breathe, you die, right? So air is everything. But outside of air, like nothing is everything. But all these things play into the life that you're asking for. A certain level of health, a certain level of financial stability, a certain level of relationships, a certain level of spirituality, a certain level of connectivity, of fulfillment, of joy. Like all these things play into your good life, whatever that is for you. The life that you don't need a break from, the thing you can paint up there and be like, that's the life. Again, not just laying on a beach for the rest of your life, because that doesn't come with relationship and fulfillment and joy and peace. Like that's just answer to survival mode, right? You're just tired and you'd like a break. Sure, we all get there, but that's not your life's mission. That's not why you're put here. That's not why you have visions and dreams and goals. It's not the reason. But once we get tapped in and we get very clear with what it is that we want to make happen, it's going to start to now pull us in that direction. And then we start attracting the things that we need to get to that life. Here's what it says in the text, the 177 mental toughness secrets of the world class. It says champions live by the law of attraction. It says one of the most significant secrets of the world class is their thorough understanding that we attract into our lives what we are, not what we want. One more time. Okay. One of the most significant secrets of the world class is their thorough understanding that we attract into our lives what we are, not what we want. The law of attraction has been written about for thousands of years. Secular wisdom defines it as the power of the subconscious directed by our dominant thoughts that attracts people, events, and circumstances into our lives to fulfill our visions. Spiritual leaders argue that dominant thoughts and prayers attract these same people, events, circumstances through divine intervention. Whatever your belief, the one thing all thought leaders seem to agree on is this: the law of attraction exists and manifests our dominant thoughts on the physical plane. Your dominant thoughts, if you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. That's what that says. The great ones know what they think about or give energy to will grow. Doesn't matter if it's negative, positive, or neutral. The law operates without judgment. This is the reason average people barely get by while the world class lives in abundance. Thoughts are simply a series of vibrations that grow when supplied with energy. Champions can lose everything on a physical plane and gain it back very quickly just by bathing their minds in thoughts of love and abundance. These thoughts lead to belief. The belief leads to behavior, which creates results. The middle class often misses the concept, while the great ones reap the rewards by obeying this law. If you can see it in your mind, you can hold it in your hand. So what are you seeing in your mind? What are your dominant thoughts throughout the day? Are they thoughts of worry? Are they thoughts of stress? Are they thoughts of poverty? Are they thoughts of the things you don't want? Or are they the thoughts of the things you do want? Like it says, your brain doesn't know whether it's negative, positive, neutral. It doesn't matter. Whatever your dominant thoughts are is what you're going to attract in your life. I teach this a lot. It's great because I get to put it into practice with my daughter. She's 8, so I get to shape her mind, right? A lot of times with this stuff. And we just had this conversation yesterday when we're having a conversation and I'm asking her some things, and she immediately told me some things she didn't want. I think I was talking about just basic, like what she wanted for snack, or I don't know, something simple. And she was like, well, I know I don't want this and I don't want this. I said, okay, well, tell me what you do want. Don't start by telling me what you don't want. Tell me what you do want. And I'm practicing this with her to get her brain programmed of thinking about what she does want instead of what she doesn't want. Because I understand this. She might not understand this law of attraction just yet, but I do. So I can catch this in adults. You can test this out when you go talk to people and you ask people what they want, and the first things out of their mouth is what they don't want. You know that the law of attraction is working against them. It's just how our brains operate. When I say, hey, what does next 10, 15 years look like for you? Well, I know I don't want to be at this job. You're definitely going to be here. You're definitely going to be here because you can't even tell me what you want. Your brain doesn't know the difference. This is why we practice these things, ladies and gentlemen. This is not natural. This is not like, oh, this will just naturally happen. You have to practice this. You have to pay attention to what your dominant thoughts are throughout the day. This is why, back to the thesis, if you change your thinking, you change your life. We talked about this on other calls like this. Metacognition. Are you thinking about what you're thinking about? Like if you just stopped yourself today at 1:15 in the afternoon and just paused and said, what am I thinking about? What are my dominant thoughts? Do you have the ability to think about what you're thinking about? Capture, take every thought into captivity? Because that gives you the ability to say that your thoughts are outside of you, which means your feelings are not you either, because your thoughts come from your feelings. This is when you can start to pay attention to what your dominant thoughts are and what you're giving energy to, therefore, what you'll attract. Just by me giving these calls, y'all, been super consistent with this stuff. The teacher always learns twice. So even though I might be planting seeds for you, I have to tell you this stuff. So it reinforces it for me. So now when I talk about looking for opportunity or being right, the kind of seeing the way my brain works, I walk outside and all I see is opportunity all day long. I'm almost like gripped by like too much opportunity. Like everything is like, oh, that could be amazing. This could be like, I'm always thinking about that stuff. My wife is the one that has to kind of like pull me back in a little bit, right? It kind of has to pull me back down onto earth every once in a while. But that's just because that's the way I've trained my brain. Train my brain how to see opportunity, how to see success, how to see possibility, how to be grateful. I can just in the middle of the day just have a gratitude session. It's like, oh man, so grateful I get to do this. Oh, so grateful this. And the world could be burning down around me. But I'm naturally training my brain how to think about those things. Therefore, it gets attracted into my life. The more that I think about it, the more that I can actually see that. The more I see it in my mind, the more I can hold it with my hand. This is a practice you all have to practice. There's not a lot of things you need to be successful. There's not a lot of things you need to be successful, right? There's only a few things actually. That's why we go through this stuff. None of this stuff is like oh, I got to make major overhauls in my life. Nope, you just need to make small decisions every day to be better. Small decisions every day. Not major decisions, small decisions every day. You heard someone in there say, I think it was Patrick Bet-David. He said, you're one decision away from your life being different. One decision. And it might not even be a major decision. It might just be the decision to say, I'm not going to watch Netflix this month. That's a small decision. It might be big for some of you, right? It might be, I'm not going to drink alcohol this month. Might be a small decision, might be a big one, but you're one decision away from changing your entire life. What you have to know is more of the same equals more of the same. So if you don't make any of those decisions, your life will be exactly the way that it is. Whatever life you've had over the last 5 years will be the next 5 years unless you do something different, unless you think about it different, unless you change your belief system, unless you start understanding that you control your mind and you control what you give energy to. And whatever you give energy to is going to grow. So you can choose to give energy to the things that are going to help you become that best version of yourself, or you can give yourself, or you can start, have your mind pointed towards the things of this world and the things that don't allow you to get to that place. Some of these things are conscious. Some of these things are subconscious, unconscious programming. You've been doing something for so long that you don't even know that you do it. You've been thinking away for so long that you don't even know that that's how you're thinking about things. And it's blocking your blessings. It's blocking you from getting to the place you want to get to. How do we get through this? Number one, you have to get around people that can help you see your blind spots. You have to be open enough with people, with the right group of people, with the right person, so that they can help you see your blind spots. That's number one. You got to understand what you're working with. Awareness is the first step to change. Then everything after that is changing what you put into your eye gates and ear gates. That's the game. That's it. If you get aware of what your blind spots are, where you're missing the mark, where you're holding yourself back, where you're kind of getting in your own way, and then you change what you're watching, change what you're listening to. That is the key. That's the practical thing. If you haven't read a book, try to read 3 books in October around things that are helping you grow, personal growth, personal development, time management, relationships, sales, business, marketing, marriage, corporate America, like whatever the things are that you need to get better in, that you want to grow in, that you see up ahead. Feed yourself those things. Don't feed yourself the things of the world. Don't feed yourself the news. Don't feed yourself whatever is popular in society today. Feed yourself intentionally what you want. Just like your physical health, when you put in good food, good things come out, right? You put in good things, your body gets healthier naturally. Same thing in your mind. Same thing in your mind. And that's my encouragement to you today. That's my challenge for you today on this Wednesday, October 1st. Figure out exactly what October looks like for you. What are some goals that are beyond what you think you can do? What are they? Write them down and then let's go to work. Why? Because you might get those goals. You may just become a better version of yourself by going after those things. Either way, you're going to win. Either way, you're going to win, guys. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve to win. Your families deserve to win. Your families are counting on you in order to take this information and go make it happen. And go make it happen, right? Life doesn't get easier. We get stronger. Go out, do something that challenges you, pushes you out of your comfort zone. BP put down there the 5 love languages. It's a great book. It's especially if you're in a relationship. It's a great starter to understand kind of the foundations of how you communicate and what you need. But all these things, right? All these things are going to come by you being intentional about the life you're going after, y'all. All right.